How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Devin the Bear. This week, we're going to be talking about the PFO 4 results and the UFC 263 results, and we're probably just going to slowly brush up on the Bellator 260. But to get right into things things first, our buddy Carlos Nava made his pro boxing debut this past Saturday. Me and Zach were lucky enough to attend the event, and going in there and watching him come in, man, it was something special. I mean, you saw a guy who's definitely it shows that he's been doing this since he was a kid. Went in there and ran through that guy, and he won by TKO in the third round.
Yeah, it was very much like The Art of War says, Sun Tzu, sometimes you win the fight before the fight.
Yeah.
Just their walkouts.
Yeah.
Roberto Pena came out and just looked like a boxer, a young kid getting into boxing. Carlos Nava came out and he looked like he's a boxer, and he looked like he was a champion boxer.
Yeah.
And that's what he felt he was, and that's what he went in there and did. Like you said, it was a TKO in the third round. He got a knockdown earlier in the fight, and just from then on, he was piecing them up with combinations.
Just a really technical, pretty left hook right on the chin.
Really, really worked his jab and would stick out and get his reach to set up the right hand and it was just constantly smacking this dude's head around.
Dude, it was bad. It was rough. Watching this guy go in there, because you see Carlos, and then it's just he just goes in there and he's just so fast, but he hits so freaking hard. And it was holy shit. I remember watching this, and every time he hit the guy, I'm like, where's he finding this fucking sweat? Every time he hits him, you just see water and just sweat just flying off his
spray of sweat.
I don't know, man. It was intense, but it was cool as shit watching him walk out. I mean, you just felt the presence in the room.
Yeah.
You know that they were watching something special and right in front of him, and I mean, he beat the shit out of that dude. Respect to the guy who stepped in there against him, Roberto Pena, but man, Carlos let it be known, because I remember even when he came on the show with us, he even said, "Yeah, I'm gonna win by knockout."
Yeah, and he definitely called it.
Yep.
Because that was it was a TKO, but if the ref hadn't stopped it, that kid would have been knocked out. He was up against the ropes, getting his face punched in.
Yeah.
I have plenty of pictures, but it doesn't do it justice until you play it as a live photo. So I'm glad that I got them as live photos, because when you play it, you see the punches landing, and this kid just wasn't defending.
Yeah.
So that puts Roberto Pena at 0-2, and that's Carlos's pro debut, so he's 1-0.
Yep. He also had some really nice defense as well.
His head movement was great.
That shoulder roll he was doing, I want to say it was the second round. It was just,
and I have those live photos of that as well. So he just looked great. He looked very promising. He's going to be going out to his next fight knowing he's a pro now, but he still can handle the level of competition.
Yeah,
there's no change as far as his skills and his mindset and where he's going. It's the same path, and he's going to keep following it.
Yeah, I mean, it just showed right there that him becoming pro was just it was
another step.
That's all it was. He went in there, and if I would just shown you the fight with no context, you would have known that was his pro boxing debut. You know,
you would have thought he'd been doing it.
And I can't believe he weighs around he cuts down to around 140 pounds. He's solid, man. He's big, you know.
He's a stout guy.
So he's stout, but he's pretty tall. He's about 5'6", 5'7". Well, I would say 5'7", 5'8". So
that's not that tall.
It's bigger than me. Shit. Everyone's bigger than me though, so I really can't say anything with that. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the next fight. I'm super excited that we're sponsoring this guy. You know, I mean, it's cool going to watching this guy put in the work that he does. And it's just man, we get to at least have our logo on his shorts, you know. And this guy's gonna go down the right path, and I'm sure he will. He has a good head.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by very good people as well. And
I said it when he was on. He's got the skill set and the mindset to make it happen. I think 10-0 is gonna be easy. Maybe not always easy fights, but I think the idea itself, 10-0, that's gonna happen.
Because we kind of saw that night too, because we were able to catch the fights before his. And we saw, I want to say his name was Vettori Ibarra. Was that his name?
Oh, yeah.
He did good, but I noticed, whenever the guy he fought, I can't remember his last name. Jamarcus. But the guy...
Something Junior.
He fought at Southpaw, and then it's he struggled with that guy at Southpaw. But whenever he went Orthodox, I think Ibarra's used to fighting people with that are at Orthodox stance. And so, but that was a good fight, though. I mean, those guys went back and forth. What's called Ibarra got dropped, but he got right back up right after. he got dropped hard too, and he just got up and
he face planted almost.
Yeah, and but that guy was just I mean, it was just like right there. Like I don't see Carlos like having issues with somebody that's gonna be a southpaw.
I don't either. Like I said, he worked his jab really well. You work your jab really well, you establish your range.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if they're southpaw or orthodox. When you establish your range, you're setting up the fight to be yours.
Yeah.
And he did that really early on, and he did it the whole fight. He didn't let up with his jab.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of times he would set combinations up by sticking his hand in your face and holding it there.
Yeah.
And just pushing you back. And the second you start backpedaling, that's when he unloads a nice combination, and he did that several times.
Yeah, it's hard, dude.
Yeah.
And we also saw Oscar Perez also. He won.
Yeah, he was the fight before. He had a really clean combination to get a drop,
a
knockdown, and then he finished it with a knockout with the same clean combination.
Yeah.
Very perfect technique.
And his head rolled like it was.
What's interesting is they have fought before, he and Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos is pretty convinced that they're going to see each other again in the pros.
Mm-hmm.
If they do, I think Carlos takes it, but I'm a little biased.
Right.
So I think it'll be really exciting to see that happen, though.
For sure.
Oscar looked real good. All of Carlos's teammates looked real good. They all won. Ray Talib, Alif, and Juan, he won his fight as well. I think he's 6-0 now. So everybody's looking good, man. That was a great night.
Yeah, all around. I mean, I can be honest when I tell you this too is watching those fights, I was more excited about those fights than I was for all the fights we watched this week. Just watching him go out there and do that, it's weird. I never thought I'd say I was more excited about the boxing fights than I was the MMA fights. You know,
we're much more avid MMA fans than we are boxing fans.
Yeah.
But the boxing matches this weekend in Houston, or in Galveston specifically, but they were far more exciting than any MMA collectively than any MMA match that we watched.
For sure.
Moving on to just another congratulations to Carlos. You did your job, man. Hard work pays off. It's going to happen again when you're 2-0, and then again when you're 3-0. But we're going to move on to PFL, the PFL 4 card, with Brendan Loughnane and Tyler Diamond. That fight was very surprising.
Yeah.
Not surprising in the sense that Brendan was kind of running the show that fight, dropping Tyler Diamond left and right.
Yeah.
But Tyler Diamond never went down. He might have went down, but he was never out.
He showed a lot of heart in that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Brendan really beat the shit out of him that fight. And it's just, Brendan's on a hot streak right now. Everyone knows he is. He's first place in the featherweight bracket right now.
Brendan took some damage too, though.
Yeah. And Tyler
there was one moment where he was hurt.
Mm-hmm. And so it was just a fun fight to watch, man. If you're a fan of Brendan Loughnane, yeah. I mean, but it was really good to see it. I mean, I think Brendan Loughnane's making a lot of noise right now in the featherweight division over at PFL. But I'm sure Tyler Diamond will be back. He's young, you know. He showed a lot of heart in that fight.
It just sucks. He's 0-2 now, but both fights were just like that. He was tough as nails. He went in there and did his job. He just didn't get the win.
Yeah.
And then in the other fight will be Bubba Jenkins and Bobby Moffitt. That fight, I actually am completely blanking on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was just Bubba Jenkins did what he does best. He just went out there and just put it on Bobby Moffitt.
Right.
You know.
Wow. And then Bubba Jenkins did the Ray Lewis dance.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot. That was weird. Brain fart. That was Bubba Jenkins' fight. Grappling.
Yeah. Stand up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about it.
Yeah.
Bubba Jenkins is looking good, though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he just beat...
That's domination, and that's what it is.
His last fight before that was his win over Lance Palmer. And so it was kind of expected to see a guy coming in off of a big win like that over against Lance Palmer, who's already established himself as a dominant figure inside the PFL. So,
and then to go fight another high-level grappler and out-grapple him.
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
Exactly. Then, so the co-main event that night was Clay Collard. He defeated Jolton Luderbach by decision, but that was all-around fun fight.
Yeah, it was.
That was probably my favorite fight on that card, just because those guys were going back and forth nonstop.
The striking was great. The jiu-jitsu looked great. The wrestling was great. Really fun.
And Clay Collard's experience showed. He was. I mean, that's really what it was. It's just Jolson was putting him on in the first round. He hurt him pretty bad, but Clay Collard was able to come back and really just weather the storm. But that second round was just all Clay Collard after that.
And it's like we said, Clay Collard just has more experience fighting the higher level guys, so he's a little bit more used to being in bad spots and coming back from it.
Yeah.
And Luderbach had his moment, but other than that, like you said, it was all Clay Collard. So I think, like you said, that was definitely his experience that showed. It's not the fight. It's not how the fight that Clay Collard would have wanted to go, but he got the win. Then, he's moving forward.
What's that with Jolson? Third round, he knew he had to get a knockout to win that fight, and he was going for it, which is something you really don't see out of some of these guys. Is they don't chase that. They don't chase the finish whenever they know they need it, and like we just saw this past Saturday.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So with the Jolson, like he went out and he was like, I need to finish this guy, and he tried for it. Which more power to him. I'm excited to see him fight again. I think he was super exciting. He was just all around good. He had a lot of fights for only being 28 years old.
Yeah,
and
he's Brazilian German.
Yeah, which
is interesting. But shout out to our German listeners. Wie geht es dir? Tell us in the comments. But yeah, he's just a really interesting guy. He's got a great style. He's got a great future in MMA.
Yeah.
It just sucks when you have to fight someone like Clay Collard.
Yeah.
And then you don't get the win. It's kind of like, yeah, man, it is what it is. You fought him. What did you expect? So it was a really good fight. It puts Clay Collard up. Did he clinch a spot in the playoffs? I can't remember.
I can double check for you.
I can't remember if he did or not. I know Brendan Loughnane did.
Brendan Loughnane in first. Clay Collard's in second.
He's in second
in his division because
they're different divisions. But I think that means he should have clinched then.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Guys are starting to the guys who are moving up more than others, they're taking their spot in the playoffs. So that kind of sets the pace. Like, hey, if you're not winning, you better step up soon because you're losing your chance. Because
we saw, I forgot which fight it was. There was a knockout earlier on the prelims, and it was kind of like,
Radzhabov beat
Ahmed Aliyev.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of his. And as soon as I said, man, he's real good, he got dropped.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. But yeah, so Luke, he needed that knockout win because they even said if he doesn't win, he's not going to clinch the playoffs. He's not going to be in there. Yeah, and he went out there and he finished him in less than 30 seconds. And which is so crazy because there was he looked like he didn't even want to be in there. You see his face and stuff, and even they're showing him on camera, watching the fights live. Yeah. And then his friends and him are cracking jokes, and the second he sees the camera, he just breaks a smile and just looks around. And I thought that was pretty funny.
And they're actually friends. He and Aliev's there, so.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing with it too.
Yeah.
So so on to the main event.
Claressa Shields MMA debut and Brittany Elkin.
Yeah.
Man. This is such a wild fight.
I was super excited to see Claressa Shields show the heart that I feel like when boxers transition into MMA, they don't show.
Yeah, and I expected her to get submitted. As much as I want to say no hate towards Brittany Elkin, but I think if anyone else would have gotten her in those positions that Brittany Elkin got Claressa Shields in, they would have submitted her.
Yeah.
I don't know why Elkin didn't go for more arm bars or key locks or Americanas or just anything.
She was too scared to get hit by her.
But you're on mount. You've mounted her.
Because I think
you got to get something.
She did nothing in the mount, and it was frustrating for 2 rounds. And it's like, okay, I get it. You're winning the fight, but what are you doing? All you're doing is going there and laying on top of her.
And she got the arm bar, and Shields scrambled out of it immediately.
Yeah.
And then she just sat there on the bottom and curled up, and it's like you don't even want to try for triangle or to get half guard and try to sweep or anything.
She's supposed to be. She is a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it didn't show. It was like, okay, like you're supposed to come out here and let her know there's levels to this.
And I do think that she approached that fight exactly how you should have approached that fight.
Yeah.
Get a very long Muay Thai stance going and utilize your teep kicks and keep your distance and then shoot in for a takedown. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
But to just have someone with 0 real fight experience on the ground just completely negate your attempts to do things other than passing guard, that's not good.
I talked to people about this fight who didn't actually watch the fight. They're like, yeah, man, she went out there and knocked her out. She put in that work. And it's like, no, she didn't, honestly. But
she would have gotten beat, I think, if it were anyone else.
Yeah. And it's like I like Claressa Shields. I think I think she's the best female boxer of all time. And,
the GOAT.
Yeah. And so that's I was thinking about that too. But it's like she's the best female boxer of all time, and she showed a lot of heart coming in. I mean, she was mounted for more than 10 minutes. But whenever the third round started, Elkin shot for that takedown, and Claressa Shields stuffed it, which was super cool to see because it's like, okay, she knows how to stuff a takedown.
It wasn't the best sprawl form, but she stuffed it.
She stuffed it, and then it's like especially because it's in the third round. Most people are exhausted by the end of the third. By
she was ready to go,
and she was still fresh. And then eventually, I think Elkin just gave up, and then. Claressa Shields started landing punches. I guarantee you she hits hard as shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, the way that she was hitting her was just so hard.
Yeah.
I can't imagine wanting to get hit like that.
I don't blame her.
That's insane.
I mean, whenever you're in mount for 10 minutes, you avoid the hits. So it's like, come on, man. Like, do something.
Yeah.
And, like, whenever people get talking about how Brittany Elkin's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, it's like, well, I mean, she has no submission wins. So how prominent is that jiu-jitsu, really? I think it was just something to build up the fight for Claressa Shields because that's who it was making debut. But Claressa Shields, just once she got dominant position, she just started landing down punches.
They were very good punches.
Yeah, and eventually Brittany Elkin just didn't like it at all and just laid there while she got punched. And it's like, you could have been 4-6, but now you're 3-7. So
could have been 4-6.
Yeah, and so. I'm excited to see Claressa Shields back, though. I know for sure working with Greg Jackson, she's going to be working on her ground game a lot.
As crazy as it sounds, I think that's the best outcome they could have possibly had.
Yeah.
Because now not only do you get a good win that shows you have heart and understanding of what it's like to be on the ground in a horrible position, but it's also something you can learn from.
Yeah.
You can't always learn from wins. So now you have a win where you had to overcome adversity.
Yeah.
I always say this. I always think that that's great. I think it's always great when you show that you can come back from adversity and still win the fight.
Yeah.
Because you can learn from it. So she can look back and learn, hey, when I get in this position, maybe I need to do this. Hey, maybe I don't need to be throwing my arms around from the bottom so much. Because, again, if she fights Kayla Harrison, she's going to get tapped out.
Yeah.
There's no way she wins that fight. With that kind of performance.
Kayla Harrison's going to know exactly what to do. She is also a Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, she's a gold medalist. Better than Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So, Ronda.
Who gives a fuck? But yeah.
All right, tough guy.
Excuse me. Yeah, tell her I said that shit, bro.
Yeah, you got it. Let me just text her.
Yeah, call her up. Hit up fucking Edmund all day.
Yeah, cool.
Let them know.
I'm never talking to that guy.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually do like Ronda a lot. I think she's actually not respected as much as she should be. But
it's crazy that she's lost respect.
Yeah.
That's freaking ridiculously stupid and mind-boggling that people think she's not a good fighter anymore.
She was a great fighter.
She was the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's not her fault Amanda Nunes is something on a different level, but she's on that level because Ronda Rousey set that bar.
Yeah.
So
she set the standard for what it's like to be.
Just like Gina Carano set the first bar for women fighters.
Then Cyborg came and raised it, and then after that, Ronda Rousey put it high because she was breaking records. She was doing great things for
setting records and breaking records. She was insane.
And she has records that I feel like some people are not going to be able to beat. Even her title defense record, no one's going to be able to beat that.
No.
I mean, well, I think Valentina can. But her title defense record is going to stand for a long time.
Yeah.
And the only one who got close to it was Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But
you don't think Amanda Nunes beats it?
I don't know, because Nunes is already, every time she defends a title, she talks about retiring. So,
True.
But whenever you say who's the greatest women's fighter of all time,
Amanda Nunes,
you know.
But talking Ronda Rousey, and like I said, I think Kayla Harrison's better than Ronda Rousey as far as judo and getting the armbar goes.
Yeah.
So if Claressa Shields doesn't improve in those areas, she doesn't beat Harrison. That's just not going to happen.
Are they in the same weight class?
I believe so. Look that up. But yeah, I think Shields was very impressive. I couldn't be more impressed with her. Because like I said, I thought she was going to go in there and get submitted. And she didn't. So hats off to her. Yeah. But again, if she fights someone with a bit higher level grappling, higher level all around, it's going to be a different story. So I think she has a successful MMA career, ultimately.
Yep.
But there will be losses.
Yep.
I don't think she goes undefeated.
And it's just gonna happen. And she's learned over time.
Yep.
She's a natural competitor. So, but on to the Bellator 260, just to touch up on them real quick.
Yes, they're in the same weight class.
Yeah, what weight? They were at 155, right?
155. Yeah.
Really? Damn, that's crazy. But just to brush up on the Bellator 260 cards, if you missed it, you didn't really miss anything too special, honestly. It was just a bunch of fights. A lot of wrestling, but there wasn't any activity with the wrestling. Aaron Pico finally was able to utilize his wrestling, though. I think that's exciting.
Because he's a great wrestler,
yeah.
But he became a good striker and forgot about his wrestling, and that cost him a couple times.
And he still had a lot of holes in his striking, though, and they were being shown, you know. And but yeah, he utilized the wrestling, got the dub, and then you had guys like, you know, Jason Jackson, excuse me.
Yeah.
But he beat Paul Daly, and he just held him down the whole fight, you know. And it's just like I get it. I enjoy watching a wrestler go in there and do what they do best. But whenever you're not working towards anything, you're not working towards finishing the fight. It's like, okay, man, like, what's the point? Like, you're dominating this whole thing, you know?
And that being said, that says something about Paul Daly too, though.
Yeah.
He's as good as it gets, but he couldn't pick this guy up off him. He couldn't move. He couldn't sprawl. He couldn't stop the takedown. So I think that says something in itself, because you can't put it all on the other guy.
Yeah.
When you're getting taken down whenever that guy wants, why should it change?
Yep.
You have to make it change. That's just how it is. He took a loss.
Yeah. And then Yaroslav Armasov, yeah. He defeated Douglas Lima for the welterweight championship. And same thing, though. He held him down all 5 rounds. And it's like, look, man, like, and he's being compared to Khabib because he's 26-0 now, which but the thing is, when you look at Khabib, he finished fights.
He finished fights, and half of his fights were in the UFC.
Yeah.
And again, I do believe there's a talent level gap between Bellator and the UFC. So if Yaroslav wants to be taken a bit more seriously and be really compared to Khabib, you got to go to the UFC.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lima, same situation. You're as high level as it gets. You got to stop the takedown.
Which is kind of crazy, though. That happened because when he fought Ben Askren did the same exact thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You can't stop the takedown. Why should the other guy stop taking you down just because it's boring? And why don't you stop the takedown and make it exciting? You're supposed to be a fighter too, man.
And so I think it just kind of cancels all that out. But I don't know. I missed the fights, and I mean, I saw some of the prelims. You know, I saw Nick Newell, he lost, but which sucks to see. But
I missed them. I made sure to go and catch the highlights. I think I was working. I don't remember, but yeah, they weren't. You know, they weren't as exciting as we wish they could have been.
You didn't miss nothing. I did want to mention Diego Lima, who is brothers with Douglas Lima. He is fighting Matt Brown.
Matt Brown is in Bellator?
No, they're both in the UFC.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm sitting here thinking Douglas Lima when you just said Diego Lima.
Yeah, Diego Lima.
You said Diego Lima, Douglas Lima's brother, and I was like, Douglas Lima?
They're fighting.
Matt Brown? What the hell?
They'll be fighting this Saturday.
Yeah.
So
that's this Saturday?
Yep.
Nice.
So I'm actually excited for that fight.
I hope Matt Brown wins. I love Matt Brown. Walks out to Avenged Sevenfold. That's my guy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Damn, I
Hail
didn't know
to the
that.
king.
Never realized that.
Yeah.
So
Matt Brown's been there and done that.
Yes, he's done a lot of things.
Speaking of the UFC, moving on to the UFC card. I think it was pretty solid until it got to a couple of fights, and then it was and then we had a couple good fights, and then we had the main event.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it went. The prelims weren't bad.
No.
Drew Dober and Brad Riddell stole the whole show, though.
Yeah.
That was such a good fight.
That was my favorite fight on the whole card, from top to bottom.
We actually watched that one on a phone on our way to go watch the fights from the Carlos's boxing match. Look up Carlos Nava. Just do it. But we were sitting there watching on the phone. Oh, man, we were so hyped. Coming off from those exciting boxing matches.
I was driving, so I missed most of the fight. Like, I had to pay attention to the road, Which we got kind of lucky. We hit traffic really bad on right there on 45. So I was able to like stop and at least watch the last round. And I was like, dude, these guys are fucking throwing down.
Yeah, it was intense. And we were riding the hype from Carlos's win. And so we were all hyped up, amped up, and we were freaking into it.
Yeah.
And then we got there and we watched. We missed the Paul Craig and Jamal Hill fight. But we'll get into that in a second. Brad Riddell beat Drew Dober by decision. And I think that was the right call.
Yep.
I think Riddell could have had a knockout several times in that fight.
I think there's times when Drew also could have capitalized on it too.
Yeah. I think neither of them. I don't know if it was a thing of they just wanted to play it smart or if they just were tired and couldn't find it in them, dig deep and go after it. But whatever it was, it made for a great fight. So
yeah, I mean, we also saw a 7-second knockout from Terrence McKinney.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Yeah. And then immediately blew his knee, jumping back down from the cage.
What sucks is he took that
Shout
fight.
out to my dad calling me to tell me about it.
That's it. It was he knocked out Matt Frivola in 7 seconds, and it was dirty, man. And,
which is 2 seconds away from the record.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
And granted, Terrence McKinney just fought on June 4th.
Yeah.
And he took this fight on June 12th, and he won that one by knockout as well. And they called him up for a last-minute replacement, and he went in there and he put in work. And
Matt Frivola is good.
He's very good. And so Eric Anders defeated Darren Stewart
by decision, which I didn't expect.
I didn't expect that either.
I figured if it was going to decision, Eric Anders was going to gas out, but he didn't, and he looked good, and he stayed in control. I think it was a unanimous decision. Or was it was split?
Yeah,
it was,
no. The Lauren Murphy fight was
split.
Oh,
okay. And on that note, Lauren Murphy beat Joanne Calderwood.
Yep.
That was a split decision. A lot of people think it should have went the other way. I'm kind of torn because I really like Joanna Calderwood.
Yep.
I love Scottish fighters. I love Irish fighters. So it's hard to cheer against them, but Lauren Murphy's fighting out of Houston, so
yep, exactly.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. It was but yeah, I mean, either way, I was pretty bummed we missed that fight, but then again, it was worth it because we got to see our buddy go in there and knock some dude out, which is super cool. But yeah, man. So going into the main event, though, we had Paul Craig TKO Jamal Hill in the first round, and probably one of the most gruesome dislocations. It being a dislocated arm.
It wasn't a broken arm, but his arm was completely limp, flopping around.
Yep.
While this guy was trying to get loose from a triangle, and eventually Paul Craig just started looking at the ref, throwing his hands out like, come on, dude, stop this fight.
He's in a triangle and his arm's just hanging out.
And so he just starts hitting him until the ref stopped it. And it was just like, man, you come on.
And I mean, what's crazy is you never see a guy that weighs 205 pounds go in there and pull guard.
Yep.
Like, he just went down there and pull guard because he knew that he had the better jiu-jitsu, and he showed it. And whenever he got him in the armbar, Jamal Hill started to tap and still nothing. And it should have been a technical submission, technically, because he broke his arm. But
yeah, you go back and look at other ones where people got limbs broken or something. It counts as a technical submission. But because the ref didn't stop it,
which I've heard terrible things about this referee so far.
Yeah, apparently he's a local referee in Arizona. And he's known for if you see him reffing a fight, you know something's about to happen, because this guy lets things go or something happens and he just sits there. Who knows, man? But
yeah, I don't know how this guy. And the thing is, he's also a jiu-jitsu coach, and so he's very well aware of things to fucking jump
look
in
out
and stop.
for.
Yeah,
and he just didn't do it.
And so, Jamal Hill says he didn't tap, but I mean, his working arm was flailing all around like he wanted to tap. So, I don't know, but it was cool to see Paul Craig go in there and put in the work. These guys were supposed to fight. It got rescheduled to this card. But man, I don't know. Like, I have a taste for blood now. Like, since the Weidman break, like, we've seen a limb get broken. We've seen a limb get broke on like every card now. Since
just
then.
man.
Every single pay-per-view, someone's getting their arm broken. I need more of it.
The ref not stopping it due to a broken arm reminds me. There was a boxing match that happened recently. I'm trying to see if I can find the date. I don't remember the date, but I think it might have been this past Saturday. Anyway, it's a boxing match, and one guy, his last name's Ritson. The fight was Louis Ritson and Jeremiah Ponce, and Ponce is just pummeling him, and his corner throws in the towel, and the ref throws the towel back out and says, no, keep the fight going. And I was like,
what?
whoa. And they do it like twice, I think, and he never stopped it, and Ritson ended up still getting beat up on him afterwards, and then he stopped the fight.
Where did this happen at?
We need someone to read things for us. Happened in England, Newcastle, England.
I know some athletic commissions have it to where it's illegal to throw in the towel.
Well, this isn't one of them.
Yeah.
The referee explained his decision, and he said, hey, man, I thought you could handle it. And they threw in the towel, but it's not their job to make that decision. It's my job. So I just want to let you know that I was trying to give you a chance.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little early, but hey, you did what you could. I just want to let you know that. I was like, hey, when the corner's throwing the towel in, that means something.
Do you remember whenever Josh Thompson TKO'd Nate Diaz in his Nate Diaz's corner threw in the towel and the ref didn't see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when BJ Penn's corner threw in the towel against GSP.
Oh, because they're supposed to go to the death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Fight him to the death.
And then GSP beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, he did.
And then so, yeah.
GSP got a statue. There's some MMA news.
That is.
GSP got a statue in was it Mount Isidore, where he's from in Canada. Yeah. He has a statue. That's so cool.
It was really cool.
Anyway.
So, on to the next fight.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up another referee just letting things go.
No, man, we got to put him on blast.
That was freaking crazy.
But I didn't know about that. But, yeah, so the next fight we have Bilal Muhammad defeat Damian Maia by decision. And this is Damian Maia's last fight. He decided he's retiring after this one.
Well, he said if Dana wants him to fight again, he'll do it. And if they don't want him to fight again, they won't do it. And after that performance, they're not going to want him to fight again.
No, he looked terrible.
Yeah, he did.
Bilal Muhammad didn't look much better.
He didn't look great either. Yeah. He should have had that. That's, again, just like the Riddell Dober fight, I think he had several chances to finish that fight, and he just didn't go after it.
It was like when Tyron Woodley fought him. Tyron Woodley could have knocked him out in the first round.
Well, Damian Maia is hard to knock out. Don't get me wrong. How many times did he get knocked out in his career? I think once? Twice? Not very much for a dude who fought for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it was easy, but Muhammad had him hurt several times and just sat back on it. Didn't do much afterwards. You could tell he saw that he got hurt because he would start moving forward, but he never threw anything afterwards. So I don't know if he just didn't think he had the moment, or if he didn't want to risk gassing himself out or getting caught in a submission. I don't know, but he didn't jump on it. He sat there and he took a decision. Yeah. And this is a guy who was supposed to prove a point that he should have been given the Leon Edwards rematch.
And the point you proved is that, hey, man, you're not fighting anybody in the top 10 anytime soon. I was really disappointed to see the performance he put on.
I kind of was too. I think he looked dominant. Yeah. He looked great, but you could have looked better. And I think it was right there for you to take it, and you didn't.
And it's like, I don't know. I watched that when we finally got in. We caught the last round of that fight, and when we finally made it to our friend's house, and when we got there, it was just like, I don't know why or what was going on, but it's like, why aren't you going in there? Like, why aren't you doing something? It's like, if you want to prove that you should be fighting number 3, you need to go in there and fight like you're fighting number 3.
Yeah.
Go in there and finish him. Show, hey, no, I'm supposed to be a top fucking guy here, and you didn't. And it's like I was rooting for him. And even when going into the Leon Edwards fight, I'm a fan of Leon Edwards, but going into that fight, it was like, man, I'm kind of rooting for Bilal. He's the underdog. He has a big opportunity in front of him, and it was sucked to see what happened to him. Yeah, but
he wasn't taking that fight either, though.
Yeah, and he, I don't know, he wasn't taking that. He was getting beat up by Leon Edwards before that eye poke, and it just that right there showed me it's just like you're just gonna be a mid-level welterweight. You should be going out there and destroying a guy like Damian Maia. Yeah, because look what happened when Damian Maia fought anybody with.
And look, I'll say this: Muhammad is a wrestler.
Yeah.
Taking down someone like Damian Maia is very ill-advised. Yeah. So you don't want to do that. You want to stand up and strike with him. Fine. But you have great boxing, too. And you've shown that time and time again.
Because the way he fights a lot like how these other top welterweights fight. He's a grinder when he fights. He gets in your face, he tires you out, beats you up. And it's like he didn't even want to go near Damian Maia. Yeah. And it's like, I get why, but, man, come on. You're the younger guy. You have the better boxing. Like,
when you see that you've rocked him, if you don't have that killer instinct, Dana White's not going to want to move you around. He's said that time and time again that if you don't want it, why is he going to give it to you?
Yeah.
How many times we got to see that? His stupid speech. Do you want to be a fighter? What was the really boring season where no one was getting finishes?
I can't remember.
Of the Ultimate Fighter. There was a season where no one was getting any finishes, so he had to go in and say, hey guys, this is getting ridiculous. Like, you're supposed to be entertaining. You have to be a fighter. If you're in a fight just to squeak by on a win, like, that's not what's going to get you there.
We saw a guy who, I can't remember his name. He's an English fighter. He fought in the Contender Series, and in the last 10 seconds, he took the guy down. And so, and Dana White even said, like, okay, like, yeah, he had a great fight. If he wouldn't have taken him down in the last 10 seconds, I would have signed him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get the frustrations as the other fighter. The other fighter posted a video after. He was like pissing blood. He was throwing up because he had such a tough fight. And he was like, I won't listen to a guy that's tells me, oh, shouldn't take him down in the last 10 seconds. He's like, dude, I'm literally peeing blood. And it's like, I get the fighter's standpoint 100%. I agree with you, but Dana even says, like, if you want it, you gotta go out there and show you want it, and Bilal didn't show that he wanted it. It's like, you're just willing to get by. It's like, what does fighting a 44-year-old Damian Maia do for your career?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I was disappointed.
It's kind of just another notch in your belt.
Yeah.
It's really cool to have gotten to fight Damian Maia. But yeah, I think as far as rankings go, it doesn't do anything for him.
Yeah, doesn't really call for a top 7 opponent. It doesn't do any of that. It's just like, man, I don't know. It's just frustrating. So on to the next fight, something else that was pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
The Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz fight. And
I think it wasn't so much frustrating as it should have been.
Yeah.
Or it shouldn't have been this frustrating.
No.
It should have been very clear cut.
Yeah.
But people are stupid and want to make an issue of things that don't exist.
I texted Zach at 3 a.m. going on like a very, very long rant about this fucking shit. Because do I like the Diaz brothers? Yes. Are they great fighters? Yes. Do they blow every fucking chance they have to do anything significant with their stock? Every fucking time.
Yeah.
They always do it. It never fails. And my thing is, too, though, is, when Leon Edwards had a phenomenal fucking performance. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a typical Leon Edwards fight. He will out-technique you. He will do all these things. He's a bit of a slow starter, but that's just how he fights. And, I mean, he went in there and he beat up Nate Diaz for 24 minutes of that fight. And Nate Diaz went in there and in the last minute lands like a fucking Hail Mary. And
a really good left hand. Hit him with the Stockton slap.
Yeah.
Which, I only call it that because people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that great. But hit him with that, and then that set up a really nice left hand, and it rocked Leon Edwards real bad. Had him wobbling for the last minute and then after the bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, he rocked him and then tried to put it on him a little bit, but was content to just stand there and shoot the middle finger.
Yeah,
like,
just laughed at him and
dude.
pointed at him. And
Yeah.
it's like, and Dana White made it very clear before the fight, whoever wins this fight gets the title shot.
Yeah, and that's what you think about the title shot, huh?
Yeah.
You think you can just point and laugh?
And you could have easily just, I mean, this is like what I told you is like what he could have just went in there. If he doesn't want to fight for the title, I get that. I mean, fuck it. It is what it is. I mean, I think that he does have a stock high enough to where he doesn't have to fight for a title. Either way, it's going to be a fun fight,
Well, I don't think he has a stock high enough. I think he's a gatekeeper. He's a journeyman. But I think his popularity calls for more than that.
Yeah.
But his fighting style, that's all it allows.
Yeah.
So I think if he had a title, now you have all the makings of a legacy of what the Diaz brothers are about. Neither of them have that title in the UFC, though.
Yeah.
And neither of them are going to get it. And this was his moment. He should have had it, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Or he could have had it, but he didn't. And like you said, that's all they do. They blow opportunities. And I don't hate the Diaz brothers. I for the longest time, I disliked them. But for the reasons that they kind of want you to dislike them.
Yeah.
Because they talk crap, they're in your face, they're rude, they don't care, they're fighters. They're dirty, they're fighters.
So edgy, bro.
Yeah. So they don't really care, and that's cool. But there's a reason GSP is my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
It's because he cared. It mattered to him that he was a winner and that he was a champion. When it doesn't matter to you, there's kind of that lack of competitiveness that like people want to see.
Yeah.
People want to see you fight for it. And if you go in there and all you do is scrap air
Yeah.
quotes. Good for you, but I'm going to go watch a real fighter now.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
And
Tell me if I'm wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I get shit for it all the time for not being fans of them, but it's just a simple fact that it's like I do enjoy watching their fights. So when I heard he was fighting Leon Edwards, I didn't think the fight made sense at all, but I was excited because I'm like, okay, cool. Like Leon Edwards is getting a good fight, and he's fighting a Nate Diaz. I enjoy watching Nate Diaz fight, but the thing is, though,
I will also add, I do love seeing them fight.
yeah,
I just wish that they would finish it.
yeah, and he could have finished it. And the thing is, though, is Leon Edwards had a great performance, but no one is talking about that. They're talking about the 1 minute that Nate Diaz won that fight, and it's like, and they're literally trying to shit on Leon Edwards, saying he doesn't deserve the title shot. Why is he calling for a title shot? It's like, are you fucking serious? Look what he did to y'all's boy. Like, look how he massacred your boy. You know, it's like
he cut open both sides of his head.
Yeah, and when people say, "Oh, well, they do better when you cut them up," oh, so they do better when they're losing? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's cool.
And
then
so,
how come they can't win?
And
they're doing better when they're cut up, and they still don't win.
Yeah.
Does that mean they suck?
And so, yeah, I mean, it was just, but Leon Edwards had a great fight, and Leon Edwards does deserve the next title shot after Colby Covington. That motherfucker's 10-0 in the welterweight division right now, the second longest active win streak in the welterweight division. I think
second to none but the champion.
Yeah, and the last person he lost to was a champion very early in his career. I think that I think the fight would be different. That's up for discussion another day. But because I could probably go on about that shit,
especially after that performance.
Yeah, I mean, he put on a great performance. He got caught, and it happens. But watching this guy go in there and just point and laugh at him, saying, "Ha, I rocked your shit." Okay, do something about it. Don't just let that motherfucker just wobble around. Yeah.
And he's wobbling around away from him. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Can you not keep up with him?
Yeah.
You got long arms, you can't reach him.
Yeah.
What's the problem there? I don't quite understand. Are you a fighter, or are you someone who just stands there and watches people stumble around?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think most of everybody we watched that fight with was pretty pissed off he didn't go in there and finish it.
Yeah, because he could have.
Yeah.
And that would have been crazy. That would have thrown such a huge wrench in everything that happened. And Nate Diaz's thoughts about it was, if this was a real world, if this was a real fight, I would have won. That would have been it. That would have been the end.
You think that fight?
Well, it was a real fight.
Yeah.
And this is the real world. And you didn't win that fight.
No.
So what on earth are you talking about?
And that's like one of the things is so kind of, it's just
Nathan
annoying
Diaz.
to hear. It's just like they talk about like a lot of comments, because I read YouTube comments while I'm watching like press conferences and stuff, and everyone was like, well, if the Diaz brothers didn't have time limits, they'd be undefeated.
Oh,
and
that's
it's like
cool.
It's like, well, guess what, man? It's or like if this was a street fight, they'd be undefeated. It's like, well, this is a sanctioned mixed martial arts bout.
Yeah, these are professionals.
This is professional fighting.
Not hood rats on World Star.
Yeah, we're not watching fucking street beefs. Like we're not watching felony fights.
Hey, dude, Gash is a professional.
Gash is a professional. Excuse me. She had those fucking she had those kicks going in, but yeah, then we're not watching our boy Travis from fucking Felony Fights.
Felony Fights.
Dude, shout out to Michael Lynch, man. Fuck. Enjoy
screw
it.
Michael Lynch.
Yeah. And all the guys, what's that? Who's
some gangster stuff right there.
Hey, get that shit, homie. I love that shit, dude.
Yeah.
And check out Felony Fights on YouTube, man. Bring that shit back, please. I had so much fun showing that to Zach.
You go pick up the DVD in the $5 section.
Dude, you gotta go to the adult stores to find them. And I don't like going to the adult stores. It's uncomfortable. And but yeah, man, like it was just frustrating to see. And then everyone's like, well, there wasn't time limits. If this was a street fight, it's like if this was a street fight, Leon Edwards would have beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, because all those times he had him up against the cage would have ended up on the street, on the ground, with your head in the concrete, with Leon Edwards pounding his elbow into your face.
Yeah.
How do you think that would have gone if his head was on the concrete?
It's like, I get it. They grew up in Stockton, but fucking Leon Edwards grew up in the streets of Birmingham.
Yeah.
His dad was a fucking gang leader who got shot and
sliced
killed in front of him. Yeah. His dad got shot and killed in front of him. You think Leon Edwards came up from a hard background? Like, Nate Diaz is the only one. Leon Edwards did too.
And again, Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz both grew up together, and if they didn't have each other, they wouldn't be as tough as they are. Leon had Fabian. Yeah. Fabian Edwards, I think, is tougher than both the Diaz brothers.
And he's a fucking heavyweight, isn't he?
He's not a heavyweight, but he's freaking huge. Yeah. Let me see what weight class he is. I don't think he's not a heavyweight.
That's his big little brother. But yeah man, he's big, but He has an up kick and he jumped up and he hit him with a left hook. That knockout is really nice. But yeah, man, put some fucking respect on Leon Edwards' name. Like he went out there and
he's middleweight.
He's a middleweight, but yeah, like he went out there and he showed why he should be fighting for the title. I think he had a great performance. Yeah. And
that performance would not fly against Kamaru. I'll say that much.
No, it won't. And Kamaru, they asked Kamaru, like, you know, does he deserve the next shot? And then Kamaru just said no one deserves the next shot.
All right.
And buddy. It's like, okay, don't think you're above yourself, buddy.
I mean, someone's got to deserve it. Otherwise, there's no point to having a champion, and you can just leave.
Yeah.
If you don't have, you gotta build your own competition sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you can't just brush him off. Like I understand you have a win over him, but you just wrestled him the whole time. Now it's okay. It's gonna be a little different now. Both y'all have good stand up.
I hope so. As much as I like Kamaru Usman, I'm more of a fan of Leon Edwards. I don't think Leon Edwards wins that fight. Yeah. At least not with that kind of performance. So we'll see what happens after Covington and Usman.
Whenever I was thinking about this that night, when I was really, really pissed off at Nate Diaz for just completely screwing up everything he's worked for, I thought about that shit, that joke. It's like, hey, Mom.
And I took that personally.
I did. I was like, what the fuck? But it made me think about that joke. It's like, hey, Mom, can we go get Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards? It's like, no, we have Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards at home, and that's the fucking fight we got.
Yeah. So I would have much rather see Edwards and Masvidal, but for some, that's the fight Dana White was talking about in the press conferences. That's the fight to make maybe now. Mm-hmm. But no, let Covington and Usman fight, and then give the winner to Edwards. Yeah. I don't see why you have to make Edwards fight again to earn a title shot. How many times does he have to win a fight to earn a title shot?
Too fucking many.
It's ridiculous.
Watch. What's gonna happen is he's gonna win, and then a title fight's never gonna happen. He's gonna go on a losing streak like Tony Ferguson.
And they're gonna be like, "See, we told you. He never should have got it." Like, all right, well, he'll just take all his crazy win streak in the top talent organization in the world, and he'll just go somewhere else with it and dominate there, like Corey Anderson did. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
So, okay, I feel a lot better now. So on to the
sometimes you gotta vent out your frustrations.
I was very fucking frustrated. I still am. Like so usually we record on Sundays, and I had I had stuff going on. So
don't worry about it, everybody.
And so But I told Zach today whenever he got in my car, I was like, man, honestly, I'm kind of happy we took a day off to talk about this, because I was fucking mad yesterday after that card. Like,
it's stupid.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get better from here, guys.
No, it doesn't.
The next fight is one that was nice.
Well, it got better for me. Like, I was excited.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, it's Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno.
Yeah,
I like both of those guys. I thought Figueiredo was going to go in there and have a better performance, but he looked like trash.
Yep,
he didn't do anything.
Moreno showed up ready to get that belt,
and he beat him up, took him down, and submitted Davison Figueiredo. How crazy is that?
He dropped him with a jab.
Yeah,
in the first round,
and he went down because it was one of those where Figueiredo's coming with a punch, a left hook, and whenever he got caught with the jab, he spun around and fell straight to the floor.
And the commentary team tried to say, "Oh, he just tripped." Nah, that motherfucker's eyes rolled, dude.
Out.
Like he
and that's one of those ones they usually don't get back up from.
Yeah. And I don't know, commentary teams can really piss me off sometimes. You let them, they let you know who they're going for.
Well, they acknowledged it when the replay happened. They were like, no, we thought he slipped, but you look and he stepped into that jab.
Yeah, know your fucking place. But yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I'm mad.
They fix their mistake.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Live and learn.
I did like the commentary team to actually, like, real shit. Paul Felder was on. Yeah. So I was excited to see him on a pay-per-view card.
Megan Levy didn't look like she was having a good time.
I doubt it. She's probably thinking, "Damn, these guys could fuck my husband up." Like, but yeah, Joseph Benavidez is who she's married to. What's that?
Nothing. But yeah, I didn't. That was the last result I would have expected from that fight. Moreno winning by rear naked choke.
I didn't think he was gonna win by that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be by decision for Moreno.
I thought you said you thought Moreno was gonna knock him out. That's what you said.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-mm.
Yes, it is.
It's not what I have on verdict.
I don't care. You said Moreno was gonna go in there and get the knockout win.
Did I really?
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and listen.
Do it.
What's that? But yeah, I was just super happy. It was just such a good, feel good moment to watch Brandon Moreno win.
And it was funny when he won. Like he's excited and he's running around as you would any other win.
Mm-hmm.
And then his corner comes around, and then he kind of realizes, oh, I just won the championship.
Yeah,
I'm the first Mexican-born champion.
Yeah,
and then he starts crying.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, dude. Act like you've been there before.
Very emotional. I mean, I can't. Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, you just won the most prestigious.
Time to man up
again. But he just, I don't know, man. It was just such a good performance by him, and I'm so excited to see
Jesus
him
didn't cry. He took it on the chin.
Is that a T-shirt?
Book of Mormon.
Isn't that's from South Park? Isn't
the creators of South Park made the Book of Mormon musical, and that's one of the lines. Jesus didn't cry. He took it on the chin.
So, but I don't. It was just such a good feel good moment, man. He's very emotional. He deserved that title, and
then it all got ruined. And Dana White didn't put the belt on him. He dropped it on his shoulder.
Yeah, that also like kept me even more mad. I was like, Nate Diaz pissed me off, and now Dana White pissed me off, and it's just I don't know. And then Dana White let it be known at the press conference he did not think that Moreno was going to win. He thought he was going to get absolutely fucking demolished.
Yeah.
And so he was so upset that Brandon Moreno just won the championship, opened up a whole other market to another country.
Well, look. I'll say this. What Dana White said was not that he was mad that Brandon Moreno won. Mm-hmm. He was just mad and confused that Figueiredo did nothing.
Yeah.
I would be too, but that doesn't matter. You can't go in there and not be excited for the guy who did win, the guy who did make you one exciting fight after we just watched two boring fights. Well, I think the Edwards fight was great. I do think Bilal did a good performance. I don't think they were boring, but the casual MMA fan is going to watch those fights and be like, this sucks. And then you have a guy go in there and drop Davison Figueiredo, and then choke him out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're not happy about that.
We need Dre and Dre we need their opinions on this.
Yeah, man. Bespoken GTA.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think, because I'm pissed.
About what?
Pissed as hell. No, I just think it's garbage that the way that some of these fights went, they weren't as exciting as they could have been.
Yeah.
They weren't finishes like they should have been, maybe.
Yeah.
And then when you do have a finish, Dana White's not happy about it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, wake up. Brandon Moreno just won. You should be thrilled because, like you were saying, that opens up a whole new market. Business-wise, that's got to be exciting.
The UFC's first ever Mexican-born champion.
And as we know,
yeah,
coming from Houston, Texas, there's a lot of Mexican heritage fighters coming in getting signed right now. Leo Marno Martinez. Adrian Yanez has 2 fights in the UFC. He's 2-0.
Yep.
There's a lot. There's a few other guys who got signed from Fury recently. You have a whole market that's building up which, I mean, the Mexican talent in the UFC has always been there. Mm. But right now, I think you have a bunch of really very talented fighters of Mexican heritage. And you have now a Mexican champion. You're going to be able to make some stacked cards in Southern America and I mean that southern states.
You mean like Central America?
No. Well, and then moving into Central America, yes, that's what I was going to get to. So that like you said, that opens up a whole new market, and he just drops it on his shoulder.
He didn't even tell him congratulations or anything. Yeah. And I'm like, you're such a piece of shit. Like, but the cool thing though was watching his family, his wife and his daughter.
They all came in the cage. That was cool.
And it was really nice seeing that. I don't know. He deserved it, man. He has a really cool Lego collection as well. And he has a cool Funko Pop collection.
He looks like a little dork sitting there so proud in front of all his Legos.
Dude, he's just a big grown kid that found success, and he gets to be able to do that. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. He should have been more excited because now you actually have a face to put on when you break into the audience of Mexico, you know? It's like you can finally have a face for that because they tried to do it with Cain Velasquez.
And it didn't work, really. I mean, it did for, what, one fight?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then after that, come to find out, they liked Fabricio Verdum more by the end. By the time they fought, Fabricio Verdum was speaking better Spanish than Cain Velasquez, and he was also, the fans liked Fabricio Verdum a lot more. Yeah. And then you had Yair Rodriguez who goes in there and fucking jabs Jeremy Stevens' eyeball.
Which I don't know what's going on with him. He's had kind of a weird on and off career
Yeah.
as of late. Hiding from USADA, supposedly. It's been really suspicious, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man, what's going on with him. But I still think he's got it. I still think he can be exciting.
Max Holloway's
Standing in his way, though, and yeah, I don't think that goes well for Yair. He's always in the fight, though, so that'll be one to look for.
And so the next fight for Moreno, though, would be the Askar Askarov rematch. Those guys fought to a draw.
And I think that fight on paper should be very exciting, but realistically, it's gonna be boring.
Yeah,
I think Askarov's gonna do his best to take him down, keep him there, grind him out.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, I think he can do it, but
I think he can too, and that's why I think it's gonna be boring. Because I think maybe I'm just shortchanging Brandon Moreno still.
Yeah,
but
I think Brandon Moreno has the level of jiu-jitsu to really.
I mean, he just tapped out Figueiredo, so
yeah,
very possible.
And that's what sucks though, is like, you want to establish a Mexican superstar in the UFC, but then it's like his next opponent is a grinder, is a wrestler, and it's like, man, like his next fight's gonna be kind of boring.
Brandon Moreno, put him down with the hook.
Yep.
End it.
Yep. I mean, he has the power for it, and he's a big flyweight. He's 5'7".
He's a sturdy boy.
So
thick boy.
Yeah, no, he is. I don't know why I just had to say it like that. That sounded weird. No, he's
pretty lean. He just hits hard, man. He's short and stocky. But the main event,
he has tribal tattoos.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess if you're
into that, which apparently you are.
No, not really. No.
Anyway, the main event, we have Israel Adesanya fighting Marvin Vettori, which didn't see much of Marvin Vettori in that fight. When we did,
about the raviolis.
When we did see him, it was him holding a rear naked choke on Israel Adesanya, who then pulled a move straight out of Derek Lewis, and he just got up.
Yeah, just rolled out of it.
Every time the two takedowns Vettori got, other than that one, he just got up.
Yeah, I think he underestimated Adesanya's ground game.
I don't want to say he doesn't have good ground game, but I don't know that he had good ground game. It was just more of Adesanya's creative and slippery.
Yeah,
and you got to do a better job than just getting him down and then trying to sit there. Like, you got his back, great, and you got the rear naked choke, but lock it in, man.
Yeah.
Adesanya got up with ease.
He easily slipped right out of it. It was only, the second round?
It was the third round, because I had it picked for third round submission.
Yeah.
And then through the verdict app, and then he got that, and I was like, oh, man. I stood up. I was like, this is it. I called it. This is it. How crazy is this? And then Adesanya stands up, turns around, puts his hands across his throat, and then starts laughing at him. And I'm like, you punk.
Yeah.
What?
And then
how do you let go and then just sit there and watch this guy start punching you in the face?
This man's laughing at you in your overbite, and you're doing nothing about it. Like, I don't know, man. This was another fight. I was kind of frustrated.
It's very frustrating.
Just because Adesanya walking in, like I said before, Marvin Vettori is a good fighter, but he has very rudimentary striking. He does not mix it up very well. Whenever he rushes in with a jab, his other arm is pretty much already coming out for that straight, And it's like, man, like, what are you going to do to mix that up? Like, you walking with your hands down, your chin's up. Like,
and he leads with his head a little bit, too.
Yeah, and he leads with his head, and it's like, okay, so you're obviously going to have to take him down. And your takedown attempts weren't very good either.
He didn't have enough takedown attempts early.
Yeah.
When you try to take someone down late in the fight, it's harder. When you try to take down the fresher opponent, who is now slippery with sweat, late in the fight, it's going to be really hard. So when you didn't gas him out by making him work to get off the ground early in the fight, you screwed yourself over. Was it the third round whenever he right away took him straight to the ground? Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like, how I don't know. I don't know what his game plan was. I don't claim to be all-knowing when it comes to MMA, but I do know that if you're fighting Israel Adesanya, you got to have something planned. You got to have something, maybe not game plan. You don't always need a game plan. Yeah. But you can't go in there and just stand in front of him and let him punch you in the face and kick you in the leg. Yeah. At least check the leg. At least block the punches.
You see, and he checked it like 2 times maybe?
Yeah, 2 out of like the 50 leg kicks that landed.
Yeah.
Dude was crumpling late in the fight. Anytime Adesanya finally decided to throw another leg kick, because at some point he stopped.
Yeah.
And that was the frustrating thing we have with this fight, is that Adesanya didn't finish it when we believe he could have easily.
I think he could have too. I know that Vettori's tough, but I think Adesanya could have definitely went in there and finished that fight at any moment he wanted to.
And he just didn't.
But Kevin Holland actually hurt Marvin Vettori when they fought, and so that tells me right there that Israel Adesanya could have done the same exact thing, and he didn't go in there and do that. I don't know. I mean, it was just Adesanya looked like the same exact person walking out of that fight as he did walking in. You know, he looked like he didn't take any damage, but it's like it's because you're that much better than him.
I don't know. He was crying at the end of that fight, man.
Oh yeah,
doing that, down crying,
fucking around the whole time. He's grabbing his butt in the 4th round, and it's like. I mean, it was funny, but it's also like, dude, like, finish the fucking fight.
Same thing with Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
It's cool. You can go in there and talk crap and make jokes, but if you're not going out there and I don't need to see a finish. I don't need to see you finish the fight every single time.
Yeah.
But if you're not trying, I don't care to see that.
Yeah.
The casual MMA fan might want to see it once or twice, but they're not going to want to see that every time. You're going to lose fans that way. Because at the end of the fight, you had Vettori leaning up against Adesanya, punching his leg, and Adesanya's grabbing his leg, pretending like it hurts, making a crying face, and then the bell rings, and he falls on the floor and pretends to cry, and then gets up laughing, and it's like, oh, ha ha ha, you barely won.
Yeah.
Like, it was very dominant. He won, but he didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything
other than those leg kicks. He didn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, I don't know. For Adesanya, too, just look at his title defenses. I mean, he's only had really one good title defense.
Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
Great title defense.
Yeah. He beat the shit out of him, and it was fun. And
destroyed him.
He's more than capable of doing those kinds of things.
And then he just didn't do it.
When he fought Yoel Romero, that was a boring fight.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah. And I was super excited for that fight. And
I do think that with that fight, Adesanya did what you have to do against Romero, keep your distance and watch him while you fight. But it is what it was. I think that one's a little different because Vettori was being aggressive. He was the aggressor in this fight, but he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. And even his when he was show that aggression, like he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't doing anything. He was just moving forward.
And that doesn't win you fights. And
then you have Adesanya, who's a counter striker, and he's not really counter striking. He's just like he's landing some punches, he's landing some kicks, but it's like, dude, like at some point, like, are you gonna be the aggressor? Because this guy, he's just a punching bag at this point.
Those leg kicks should have been the story of the fight.
Yeah.
But then he stopped doing them.
Yeah.
He could have finished the fights with a leg kick.
I think going in the what was it, the 4th round when he dropped him with it? Or was
it could have been the third. Could have been the third.
I want to say it was the 3rd
round. But he was dropping Vettori with these leg kicks because Vettori just couldn't take it anymore.
And Spaghetti Man has the fucking nerve to think that he won that fight.
And then at the end of the fight, he puts his hand up like he's waiting to hear the decision, like he might win. And then Adesanya, still cracking jokes, looks over at him and starts laughing and mocks him by crossing his fingers. And it's funny, but
that's so fucked up.
It was pretty funny. And then afterwards, they go to each other and pay their respects, I guess. But Vettori says, "Yeah, I think I won that fight, man." And Adesanya just laughs at him. Was like, "Nah, what fight? This fight? No, you didn't win that fight." It's like, yeah, what did you do to win that? What made you think you won that fight? At what point? Was it the takedown you got in the 3rd round? Was it the rear naked choke you didn't get?
The choke that you got and then he got out of like nothing?
Was it the few minutes that you had him pinned up against the cage where he was punching you in the face and laughing at you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what made you think you won that fight. But I don't think there's going to be a next time, but better luck next time.
No, there is not going to be a next time. That's what sucks for Marvin Vettori, if they fight again. But the thing is, it's what's the point
Marvin Vettori tweeted for the first time in a while.
What's that?
Marvin Vettori tweeted for the first time in a while.
And so, what did he say? So
Giga Chikadze gave rounds 1, 2, and the first half of 3 to Vettori. Okay, and Marvin Vettori said one of the few that understand striking.
What strikes?
Yeah, like if you actually landed strikes on Adesanya repeatedly, I would agree.
I'll tell you that those are the rounds he was the most competitive in.
Yeah, but 2.5 rounds don't win you a fight.
Exactly, and when you have your own head coach yelling at you, telling you to get your head in the game,
4 takedowns. 7 minutes of ground control. I guarantee you those 7 minutes are in the first two rounds. Or I mean 2 and 3.
Out of a 25-minute fight.
Yeah.
4 takedowns out of a 25-minute fight.
Yeah, that's not even half the fight.
Yeah. So that means 18 minutes. Idrisio Adesanya was winning that fight, which led to the decision.
I think Giga's mainly mad that they scored it 50-45.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's 10-9 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you mad they didn't give him? I don't know. Maybe they should have given him the first round. But if he had checked the leg kicks,
yeah,
I would have given him the first round.
It would have been a different story.
I don't give him the first rounds when you have the guy who's backpedaling but throwing the strikes and landing the strikes.
Yeah.
Versus the guy who's pushing forward, not landing his strikes.
And I mean, even if Marvin started checking them, they would have hurt Izzy just as much. But I mean, Izzy used to do kickboxing, Muay Thai, and all that. So
yeah,
I'm sure
I'm not saying it would hurt him. I'm just saying you check those leg kicks, they don't count for Adesanya.
Yeah.
If you're checking them, well, hopefully the judges see what's going on, and they understand you're checking those leg kicks. You're winning these exchanges.
I don't know if Arizona would know. Look who they had in the fucking ring from that fight. Not that fight, but the Jamal Hill fight.
The Paul Craig fight. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Respect Paul Craig, man.
Yeah, Paul Craig. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was just a kind of a weird card. Should have been really exciting. The fights that were exciting were weird.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno got the submission win. You would think it's real exciting. Dana White, not excited.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. It really is. I'm just saying it was kind of punctuated with Dana White putting it on his shoulder. And then Paul Craig. That's exciting. But the fight should have been stopped properly, and it wasn't. So just kind of a weird card. What else is going on?
No.
No?
I'm looking at the past few pay-per-views because just in my opinion, I felt like this was the least exciting card of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there for sure as one of the least exciting.
Pay-per-view wise.
But it really sucks because that takes away from the exciting fighters on the card.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, everybody let us know y'all's thoughts on the cards. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on Instagram and YouTube. Check out Carlos Nava. Check out Bespoken GTA. Share the love. Just not for boring fighters. Y'all have a great night. We won't.
Probably not.